How's it going, Mateus? I seem to always be streaming when it's bedtime for you, so I apologize. I thought that I would get on here and live stream while I was printing. And how's it going, Danny? I just thought I'd live stream to just say hi and print some stuff and answer questions, because I know people have been super concerned for me, and I appreciate that. And so I thought I'd answer any questions people have while I'm making some stickers today. So if you have any not any stickers, if you have any questions, leave those in the chat. But right now, I'm just trying to pull up the questions on my computer so I can actually see them easier. We are going to print some 4-inch stickers on the HP latex, and then we're going to take them over to the cutter, and we're going to contour cut them first, and then we'll perf cut around them so that the customer can have something similar to these ones for their individual stickers. So people ask all the time where I get business. This particular job was from Facebook. They are on a business group that I'm a part of, and they asked if people did stickers, so I got on there and gave them a quote, and I won the job. So let's show you what I'm doing here. So this is Flexi. I've got one sticker design here on the actual canvas, and then inside of the rip and print, I'm just saying that I want to do 60 of them, and I'm actually going to repeat it 3 times because they want 150 total. I always like to do extras. 1, because it makes me look good for the customer, and 2, if any mess up, then I don't feel bad. So basically, I just like to make sure all the settings are correct, and then I come here to my cut tool and make sure these are set correctly, and then we'll check the cut pressure. Right now, because of the age of my blade, I have it at 105 for the kiss cut, and I think it's 300, maybe 305, 310 for the perf cut, which seems to be good. This is going to wake the printer up, so it's going to take a second here. You can see that it's going to turn itself on. So I have not quit Mateus. So Mateus asks, what's up with the business? I'm still super stressed about money. I'm nervous, and I'm going to be paying credit card fees this month because I didn't make enough money, and it's just what's going to happen. The hard thing about it is like defining what truly is success for me. Like what defines that I'm being successful. And to me, like paying credit cards is one of those negative things. Like paying credit card fees it's not being successful. But at the same time, because of COVID, because of things, so there's the business that's over here, and it has its own money, and then there's me personally. And ideally, the business should be paying me for what I'm doing. But right now, to get through this hard time, before I quit my job, I had money, and I saved money because I knew I was quitting, and I wanted a backup plan. And I've been afraid to touch this money or do anything. So for the short term, basically, this is me and this is the business, and I'm going to give the business some money to help. and then eventually I'll pay it back. And it's not very much money that I'm having to borrow to make it work, but it's just not something that I wanted to do. And frankly, it was talking to my wife about it, and she's the one that was like, just do it. And so that made me feel better, because it wasn't me going to her saying, hey, I want to borrow money from ourselves. I did have the discussion with her of like defining success and defining, because like to me, getting a paycheck that's X amount of dollars is not success. Being able to meet our needs and do what we want, to an extent, that's what I define success as, not a set paycheck amount. Because to me, I don't want a set paycheck amount, because then tax-wise, it could get me in trouble, and I want to do the best thing tax-wise, whether that's paying me a little bit and doing draws or having other types of benefits because I own the business. Then I don't have to worry about it right now because I don't make any money. But so she understands that success is not getting a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 paycheck. It's being able to do kind of what we want when we want and not having to worry about it. So we're on the same page there. But for now, like I said, I'm going to borrow money from my savings to help bolster the short term, and probably at the end of the year is when we'll fully decide what's going on. Munir, I am a single member LLC, which is defined as a C Corp. So it's a class C. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm sitting right now. I'm doing the best I can to try to bolster the business. So the video that I released saying that I was stressed and thinking about quitting, that was filmed Friday, like a week ago. And so this last week was what I recorded of my plan, and I'll tell you guys now. But basically, I'm focusing on two demographics. I'm going to focus on wedding announcements and dental offices, and I've started a plan to kind of get that rolling and get that boosted. So that's what you'll see in the upcoming vlogs, because like I said, or like you should know, the vlog is 2 weeks behind. So Cam is actually going to edit the vlog probably today or tomorrow, or vlogs. He edits them all at once. And then I had one other super crazy idea of how to hashtag save the print shop. And I'm gonna release a video probably on Friday, probably Saturday next week. And it's a very ambitious thing, and in short, it's me asking everyone to share it to see if we can get it to 1 million views. Because if we could get it to 1 million views, then that would solve my issue. And I definitely don't deserve it, but it's kind of a save the print shop / social media experiment. I appreciate that, Mateus. I hope it's successful too. And I'm glad that you think I'm wonderful. Sometimes it's hard to hear compliments, and sometimes we're hard. I'm getting emotional. Sometimes we're hard on ourselves, and I'm definitely really hard on myself. I'm my worst enemy. Thank you. I appreciate it. Printer's on. I'm going to show you back to Flexi here so you can see what I'm doing. So I've got the HP Prime Gloss loaded right now. I'm going to do it at a 12 pass, just the 600 by 600 DPI. If I wanted to get it to the 1200 DPI, you've got to up it to an 18 pass, which I don't really care and find it worth doing. So at this point, this is all ready. And what I like to do is I like to hold it in the list first, because that way my computer is technically not rated for Flexi. Sorry, now I'm crying. We'll turn a camera or a light on. Wendy bought me this nice light, so it helps brighten things up a little. Anyway, I like to hold it in the list because my computer is not rated for Flexi. I have an i5 and you're supposed to run an i7, and I'm also running like a 4th gen i5. Again, it just comes down to money. So I put it in here and I rip it so that the computer doesn't have to do it both at the same time, because sometimes it'll crash if I try to directly send it to print. So let me show you this now. So I've got my list of all my jobs, and to rip something, you just right click it. That's a cut one, so you can't do that. Right click, and here in the menu there's a rip option. So now it's in the rip queue, and so we'll go ahead and just click send. And so it's gonna now do its processing up here at the top, and it's gonna start printing. So pretty simple. We can go over the numbers of this job while it's queuing up, just because I know people are always curious about that. And can you guys still hear me over the printer? If you could let me know, that would be great. Sweet. Thanks, Munir. So I'm going to turn this around so you guys can see my print calculator again. If you guys want access to this, then it's available on my Patreon. So what I do is I put in how many I need. I put the dimensions of it. So in this case, it's a 4x4. Then it automatically calculates the square foot of media needed. I have my different media in here. So I'm running the prime gloss. My servers aren't that loud, but yes, the fan noise definitely sounds like a server room. Hey Nick, thanks for joining. So it calculates the cost of the media based off of the usage. It calculates the ink based off of usage. We have that it uses the cutter, so it calculates a square inch cost to use the cutter, which I might have that a little high. And then there is no shipping cost for this one. Which my calculator is messed up because it's putting a negative here, which it's not supposed to. There we go. It got messed up. Anyway, no shipping. We're gonna meet. So my cost on the job is $30.35. That includes the media, the ink, the cutter, blade usage, power, all that fun stuff. The profit that I'm charging it's a 200% profit. So I'm charging him $91.04. And then my tax for my local area, I just have that there for simplicity purposes. The reason why I hesitated and paused for a minute is because this is not the actual number that I'm charging him. The number that I told him, I think, was $94.50 because I used the rounded number. So something is not the same as when I calculated it initially. So Nick's asks, 200% is a 50% margin. So yes, at 200% of the cost, then that's a 50% profit margin. Yes, Jim, this is live. We're printing stickers and answering questions. So we've got the latex running. I just covered the costs. Does anyone have any questions about how I calculate the costs or why I calculate them that way or anything else about it? this, like I said, this live stream is just needed to print some stickers, and I thought it'd be fun to get on here because it was fun last time. The way that I calculate the ink costs is I calculate it at 35 cents per square inch, because on average it actually costs 25 cents a square inch, and the 10 cents is for the extra usage of the machine as far as power and wear and tear. So I calculate 35 cents for the ink. It definitely, in some cases, is overestimating it, because like in this case, I'm not printing a solid 19 square feet, and it's calculating for 19 square feet of ink, but it makes sure that I'm calculating enough costs in it that I'm not losing money. And that's the bigger thing, because I need to, one, make sure I'm not losing money, and two, make sure I'm paying for the machine and everything else associated with it, like the power and maintenance and other things. Mateus, no, the HP latex does not use more optimizer than ink. It lays down a layer of optimizer first, but I don't think it is very much, because of all of my ink, like I haven't replaced my ink a ton, but like the colors that I replaced the most are black and yellow, and I've replaced those like 3 or 4 times, and I've only replaced the optimizer 1 time. Granted, I'm a very like low usage shop, especially if you go check out the podcast that I just started with Derek. It's available at anchor.fm/print. We actually talked about how much more he uses his printer. Like, I go through a full roll of adhesive media maybe once a month, and Derek goes through it almost once a day. So he's using his printer way more than me, and like it's crazy, but like it's still worth having my printer because it makes me money. Let's see here. Nice. Jim's got the 315 also. I love mine. It's great. Yeah, Nick says that he's currently doing stickers with a inkjet printer and then sealing them with a spray. And I looked at something like that initially, but to me it wasn't worth the time and effort. To give you an idea, when I bought just the HP latex, gotta make sure I'm not hitting anything. When I bought just the HP latex and was only leasing this machine, it was $310 per month. And so I looked at it in the sense of, okay, if I use an inkjet printer, what is that costing me? Because those are more expensive to run, and the media for them is more expensive to buy. And so I looked at it of the fact that, okay, if I spend $300 a month to buy this machine, how many, in my case I was looking at banners, how many banners do I have to sell at the rate or the price that I want to sell them to pay for the machine and make money? And with this machine, if you sold 3 4-foot by 8-foot banners at $4 a square foot, it would cover all the costs. So that's what I looked at of, okay, if the printer is going to cost me $300 a month just to buy it, then how much work am I going to have to do to pay for it? Because this was my first machine that I really bought. It was scary to buy because of the pressure and like, oh no, I'm gonna have to come up with this money. Well, I bought this one, and then I bought the Konica, and then I bought the white toner. And granted, I'm in financial trouble right now, but that was because of some poor decisions I made not related to equipment. So I would definitely, Nick, I would look into it because it actually might save money, and pigment printers can actually have some issues as well. Um, they all have their pros and cons, but I love how low maintenance latex is. So yeah, like you said, Nick, the pigment is more expensive, the entry cost is less, but they all have their give and takes. Like you could even get into an eco solvent like the BN20. I think they're like $5,000 at this point, and it does printing and cutting. But they have odors, they have daily maintenance, weekly maintenance, monthly maintenance. So there's a lot to consider. But the big thing for me on the latex was maintenance. Like I don't have to do anything. It's got the maintenance cartridge that you replace, but it cleans itself. It just does everything. I can understand that, Nick, not having the volume, but I had no volume when I bought mine, so and it's been worth it. I was instantly able to find work and get work um, because really no one else in my area has this type of printer. Everyone outsources, so it's something to consider. Vincent, thanks for joining. He asks how I am. I'm still a bit of a wreck. You missed a little bit earlier where I got emotional with Mateus, but I'm okay. Like, I'm not good, I'm not bad, I'm okay. Still stressed, still super stressed, and super worried. But I'm okay. I'm okay. Thanks for asking. That is a good find, Jim. $1,500 for a 315. Wow, that is way good. Um, if anyone is interested, I know one of the members here is selling a 335. I think he's asking 8,000 for it, maybe 9,000. So if you want to be connected with him, send me an email, ttmakesomething@gmail.com. Vincent asks if my HP wastes a lot of media. I don't think so. It, like, if you load a roll-on and certain types of media, you have to extend out of the curing chamber or they get caught because HP designed it really stupid, and like they have two pieces of metal that come together and there's a ridge, but they put the ridge on this side, so as the media comes down, if the media is a certain kind or a certain like pattern, then it will hit that and then it will scratch against the curing chamber. The Prime Gloss doesn't do that, so if you look down here, like the only waste was a few inches at the front for my barcode, and you don't have to do that if you're not using the barcode server, but I really like the barcode server because then I don't have to think about it and I don't have to go to the computer again. I just load it on the cutter and go. CNS, welcome. Yo yo. So for everyone that's just recently joined, I'm printing stickers and answering questions, just like the title says. I've got the questions pulled up on my screen this time instead of my phone because it made it really hard to do that last time, but if anyone has any questions, let me know. Happy to answer them. We're doing print and cut, so we're using HP Prime Gloss, and then we're gonna move it over to the cutter when they're done printing. It is. It's good to be working and have some work to do. I got this job off of Facebook, so that's nice. I'm glad you like the podcast. Derek and I had a good time recording it. We're planning on releasing once a week, so hopefully hopefully that's good. Hopefully you guys like it. If you guys have questions, we'd love to know maybe some topics that you'd like us to cover. That would be super helpful, but really it's just an excuse for me and Derek to talk once a week. Any other questions, guys? Do you guys want to see a different camera angle? It's true. Having discussions with people it definitely helps. It helps me. That's honestly like the video I released last week where I was stressed about the print shop and thinking about quitting. Like just talking about it on camera and releasing the video and having people give me feedback and ideas of what to do. That was so helpful for me. So thank you everyone that commented and watched it. Like it was so helpful. All the ideas and my plan moving forward is based off of a lot of those ideas. I'm selling a bunch of equipment that I don't use because people said that, like, get rid of what you're not using, get it out of the shop. So it's definitely helpful. So let's see, Vincent's got a question here. So Vincent says he sees that I weed vinyl occasionally instead of doing the white toner. So the reason behind that is I sell some of the transfers to other companies, and they sometimes don't want the long application time, because with white toner you have to, like, I provide it already married, but you have to press it for 30 seconds, let it cool 5 minutes, press it for another 30 seconds. And with standard vinyl, you press it for 15 seconds and can peel it off. You can do a post press if you want, but it's not required. So that's why you'll still see me do a lot of heat transfer vinyl, because I sell it, and not everyone wants to buy something that takes that long. Like I did one recently, and they wanted the quick stuff because that was bad. That was a big yawn. They wanted the quick stuff because they were doing it at a live event. So they bought the transfers from me. They were doing some event where they were decorating them on site. And so they just wanted to be able to press them once, peel it off, and send it with the person. So I will probably always continue to have just regular heat transfer jobs. Nick, if you don't mind me asking, how much did the 315 and cutter cost? I was looming around, and so far the average I saw is around 16,000. That sounds about right. If you go to my website, timetomake something.com/tools, then you can see all of my equipment and what I paid for it. So the HP Latex 315 print and cut new, I paid $15,000. I probably paid a little bit more with fees, but that was roughly what the invoice amount was. But yeah, you can see I've got my envelope inserter, my custom workbench, my Keen Cut, my folder, my Duplo, my Konica, and all that stuff. I don't have prices on everything, like my paper shredder and heater, because I don't remember what I paid for them, but I have links to similar ones so you can kind of see what the prices are. And I tell you whether I bought them new or used. Most of my stuff is new. Some of it is used. Like my Hotronix heat press, that's used. The paper inserter was used. The folder was used. The stack cutter was used. Pretty much most of the used stuff I don't use much, except for the heat press. I don't do large format. So Scott asks why I don't do large format photos. the main reason why I don't do it is because there's not a big market for it here, as far as I'm aware, because Utahns are cheap. A lot of Utahns like canvas, but I haven't done any canvas on my latex. I've done a few photos for people. Um, it's not like having one of those Canon photo printers. And I know those aren't terribly expensive. They're only a couple $1,000s. But I have a problem with buying stuff. I might eventually get into it. But that's most of my business is business to business. And so I don't do a lot of end user work. Like, these stickers are for a business. Vincent asks how I promote. Ooh, sorry. It's only 1 o'clock, 1:30 my time, and I'm already tired. Vincent asks how I promote my print shop. I mainly promote it on social media through word of mouth of existing customers and through BNI. So BNI is a networking group that I'm a part of, and I get quite a bit of business, but most of my business is word of mouth and existing customers. Nito, thanks for joining. I hope that's how you say your name. He's from Italy. Oh, where's everyone from? I know Mateus is Germany. Where's everyone else from that's on right now? That's fun. I always like doing that. So I'm in Utah. We got Italy so far, Germany, New York. Come on, guys. Use those. Or thumbs. Welcome, Chris. I can't say that, Andy. Enumclaw, Washington, New Jersey, Orange County, California. Yes. Yes, Scott. Utah people are cheaper than Idaho folks. We got the Bay Area in California. Grace, Idaho. Idaho's a good place. Lots of potatoes. That's how us Utahns make fun of all the Idahoans. My aunt's an Idahoan, so I can't say. Tuscany. I've actually been to Tuscany. That's a beautiful city. Gotta make sure my print doesn't start folding funny. Yeah, so back when I didn't have very many kids, I didn't have any kids at this time. For our honeymoon, we waited 6 months after we got married, saved up some money, and went to Italy for our honeymoon. So that was a lot of fun. So, nice, fun to see where everyone's from. Oh, we got Seattle, or south of Seattle. Oh, that's okay. Andy. Okay. Is that? Well, I won't try saying it again. I'll butcher it. But I'm glad, Andy, that you like the podcast. Again, if anyone wants to check it out, it's on Anchor. It's out now, actually, on Apple, Google, and I think Stitcher as well. So just search for Print Talk, and you can find it pretty much everywhere. Vincent asks if I can do photos on the latex. You can, and the quality looks okay, but it's not the greatest. Like, doing it on canvas isn't bad, just because you've got kind of the bumps and the weave of the media that kind of offsets it. But doing it, like the photos that I have done, I did a photo for my brother-in-law. His son shot an elk or a deer or something, and he wanted like a 12 by 12 that he could frame. I actually just printed it on the HP Prime Gloss and cut it out, and then he framed it. It's not terrible. Like, it's like I say, like, if you look at latex up close like this, it can look kind of like grainy, or you can see the color mixture. But it was fine. It's definitely like, Scott says he's got the Canon 4100. Like the Canons for printing photos is night and day. Holy crap. Mateus, I should spend the $1,000 and get the take-up reel, but I don't want to. I should, because then I wouldn't have to babysit the printer, which would actually save me time, which would save me money. I should. Munir, I could use the iColor, or I could even use the Konica, depending on what size people wanted, but they still don't turn out the greatest. They don't look the best. Laser definitely has a different look than the ink-based, but again, it all comes down to actually the customer preference anyway. Some customers don't care, some do care. It would probably look a little bit better on the latex if I jumped it up to an 18 pass, but then people wouldn't want to pay for it. Yeah, I haven't looked at any of the Canon products, Nick, so I don't know. I knew when I got into this that I wanted something big. That's true. Mateus, I do need the money for the family, so I can spend a little bit more time and not have to take a reel. I definitely want to get it though. Although, I ruined a couple. They're now very creased. Good thing I'm printing extra. Yeah, although it's a catch-22 too, because it would also be nice to spend more time with the family. I feel like I'm not being a good dad right now because of how much I work. Like, it's Saturday and I'm out here working when I should be playing with them and spending time with them. Munir, I've looked for a used take-up reel, but no one really sells them. The take-up reel is optional with the 315 and 335, and it just comes with the 365. But if people have them, they usually sell them with the printer, and they're not just selling the take-up reel. And the take-up reel is not terribly expensive. Like I said, it's about $1,000, so it's not too bad. Jay, that is a good idea. I am trying to sell my folder, my envelope inserter, and my stack cutter. So that actually, I'd get a lot more use out of a take-up reel than those 3 pieces. So that's a good idea. Mateus says he would never buy a Canon, always Epson. Canons break the print. I wouldn't know that. I've never used either. I know I've watched a few videos for, I think his name is Fine Art Prints. I think he has a Canon, but that's the extent of what I know about printing, and watching his videos about color correction and color profiling and gamuts and all that. It definitely makes me not want to get into that world. So Vincent is asking about why there's so much space between the stickers. So I'm cutting all the stickers out individually, and I put basically it's not quite a 1/4 of an inch, but I put a 1/4, for simplistic sake, there's a 1/4 inch gap around where I'm perf cutting to make it so that they don't fall out and there's enough grip space, and that if it does happen to shift because it's cutting, that there's plenty of wiggle room. So I'll pull the artwork up here so you can see it again. It just finished printing. My office went from 74 degrees to now 85 because of this printer. And it's now 30 degrees Celsius for my European friends. So let me turn this around. So the artwork itself is the black that you can see here. See if I can actually get you in the right spot. Sorry, struggling today. So this is what we printed. And then this is the contour cut line that's gonna go around it. And then I have a perf cut around it so that I'll end up with individual stickers like this one. And when I printed it, I put a gap of about 1/4 of an inch, which is like 6 or 7 millimeters, so that when I cut them out, there's plenty of space for the cutter to not screw up. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So Jay is talking about Canon, Epson, other inkjets need to be run daily or you will have problems with the print heads. Run 300 to 500 per. Had a Canon and 2 print heads were 1,000 plus. Whew. That's why I like the print heads on this thing. They're only like $125. Yeah, Munir is definitely a sauna in here. I'm gonna have to turn the AC on because it's hot. Yes, Mateus, it's miserable and it's climbing. It's getting even hotter. Oh, are you talking about? Oh. Vincent, are you talking about this gap? Yeah, Christopher, it's nice that, like, usually head crashes don't cause issues for me, but if they do, they're cheap to replace. Okay, so Vincent, this gap is because I printed 60 stickers at a time, and I need 150 total. So what I did was I sent the job 3 times. So it's printing a set of 60, and then it puts a gap for the new barcode, and then a set of 60, a gap for the barcode, and then a set of 60. So, and you'll see that when we move over to the cutter here. Scott, I'm glad you got your package today. Hope the white toner transfers work out for you. They were fun to make. If anyone does want to buy some, I am selling those if you guys want to try them before you buy a printer. And Scott, I definitely need a mini split, but I don't want to spend the money, and part of the issue is I don't know how long I'm going to be. You put a mini split here if I'm going to build the shop in the back. So that's kind of the catch 22. So let's move over here. I'm not going to be able to see your questions for a minute, but I'll come back. We're going to unload this media. So I will show you how I do it. Uses my fat tongue. So now, come over here, and you'll see what the barcodes are for here in just a second. Alright, so the printer, or the cutter right now, for those that don't have the latex, it is reading the width of the media. It uses the wheels to do that, and the wheels always have to be under one of the triangles, except for here at the front. You can have it anywhere here. So now that it's read the media, I just put it all the way back. So you can see there's one set. So I set the origin by pushing play. So now it's set. So then I hit the barcode, and it says set the tool below the barcode. So all I have to do is use the arrow keys to move the head over so that basically the OMOS sensor is underneath where the barcode is, and I push play. So it's going to come over here. It uses this thing to pop the sensor down, and now it's going to read this barcode. So it's going to come over here, and then it's going to read it, and you can actually see it pop up on the screen what the barcode number is. So what it does is it says, okay, I found this barcode on this device, and it's connected to the network here in the back, and it runs over to the computer and says, hey, what job is this? And it looks it up, and it finds the cut pass, and now it says, okay, I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna go read all the registration dots. So it has the black dot, so I'm not even sure. I'll turn it around. So it's got the black dots, and so it goes around the print, reads it, and then it reads the bottom Q, and now it's going to go through and cut the whole thing. So it's going to start over here, and then it's going to do all of the contour cutting first, and then it's going to do the perf cutting. So, hope that makes sense. Let me get my chair back. I know that there's been a bunch of questions that popped up, so while that's doing its thing, I'll look at the questions. So Brenda, back to the heating issue, Brenda asks, would a ceiling or wall exhaust fan help? I think it would, but I don't know. I tried to talk to a few HVAC people, and none of them will call me back, because I thought the same thing. Because it gets so hot in here, would it be easier to just exchange the air with outside? Because right now it's 88 degrees outside, and it's almost 88 degrees in here, and I bet it's gonna get higher. So exchanging the air, I've had that same thought, but again, I don't know, and I've tried to talk to an HVAC guy, and no one will get back to me. So Vincent, we just talked about how the barcode works. Jay says look at the whole house fan. The problem with a whole house fan is the way that my actual house is designed. Signworks is from Scotland. Awesome. Welcome. So I have my house that's over here, and then I have my garage in the middle, and then I'm on the far side of the garage. And we have a bonus section above the garage, which is what we use for our homeschool room. There's a bathroom and then a bedroom. And so the two attics are actually split. And so getting a whole house fan wouldn't work because of how small my attic is. Welcome, T-shirt chick. I watch your videos. Let's see what other questions I missed. Munir says to look at solar panels. I did look at solar panels for two reasons. One, it would maybe help lower my electric costs, but two, it would add a barrier so that the sun is heating up the solar panels instead of heating up my roof. But it would be $31,000 to do solar panels, and I just don't have the money. So I'd like to be able to, maybe someday, but not yet. I would like to put solar panels on the new shop if I do end up building it. Chris says that he was never able to get the barcode to cut correctly. If you want to reach out to me, I'm happy to help. I'd love to know more of why it's not working, because I've helped a couple people in the past and they've been able to get theirs to work. Scott, I will send you an email with the transfer temperatures. It depends on what media you're applying them to, so I'll send you an email. Nick uses the Silhouette Cameo for print and cut, and let me tell you, at times it can be the most inaccurate thing in the world. I don't have a problem with the Silhouette Cameos or like the Brother or the Cricut. It does sometimes make my job harder, because if people are competing against me in quoting something, then it makes it hard for me to sometimes win, because especially here in Utah, moms are cheap, and so if they don't value themselves or value their time, they'll do something that I can't even touch because of the price. And so that's my only complaint about them, but I can definitely see how the accuracy, because they don't have some sort of like true sensor, they just use that grid to do it, as far as I'm aware. That's right, Nick. Chris is saying that he should have bought the 315 or 335. He found his channel after he already bought the 115. I can understand that. The 115 is a good little machine. It's missing a few like key features. The biggest one to me is the continuous print. So where if you're printing the same job over and over and over, then it will just continue to print rather than having to stop between jobs. It's also less expensive to run because it uses bigger ink. If you look at my website, I do have a comparison that I break down all the different printers. Is the latex okay for small things like fonts, 5-6 points? I wish I had some samples. I printed some for my buddy yesterday that we did a 1-inch decal, which I think is like 10 millimeters. 1 inch, 2 millimeters. Oh, not even close. 25 millimeters. I did some. Joe, you're gonna make me yawn because I just saw your comment. Can you see? So I did some 25 millimeter that had super fine detail, and they worked out well. The customer was super happy with them. So for fine detail, I'd say you're fine to an extent, and depending on. Stop it, Joe. It depends on kind of what the color is too. That would make a difference. Let's see, where am I? Okay, I can see how moving hot air would not be good for the equipment, so you're probably right, Munir. Okay, we're back to where T-shirt chick joined. You guys keep asking questions. I love it. Thank you. Once I have more info on solar. Okay, great. I'd love to know. Nick, I commented. Okay, Signworks, Monterey in Scotland says, barcode works awesome for me now after loads of trial and error. Just run a calibration print through it. Yeah, so with the, this is basically a Summa D. You use a black piece of paper or a black piece of vinyl. If you don't have black, print a black square, and it'll cut out a square, you peel it out and then register it. And that's usually what solves most people's barcode alignment issues. Starkson. You are not supposed to have your notifications on. Thank you. I appreciate that. Vincent asks, Darren, how can you get a perf cut for the stickers? The one you show is actually a lot of white around it. So you can do true perf cutting. So you can do stuff like this, where you have the sticker itself, and then the design is perf cut around it. I don't like to do that because the way that the Summa driver recognizes it, it'll cut like the straight line, and then it will cut this straight line, and then it will come over here and cut a little bit, and then cut a little bit, and then cut a little bit. So the driver doesn't work as well on the Summa for that type of thing. So that's why I try to do squares or circles for my cutting. So this is a good example of why I love the barcode. So it just finished the first set of 60, and now it's going to read the barcode again, and it's going to automatically send the next job. So I don't have to do anything. Flexi's open here on my computer. It just does its thing. So I don't have to think about it. I don't have to touch it. It's just going to keep going. So yeah, hopefully that answers the question. You can technically get closer, but I just find that I mess up, and I don't like how long these take, and most of my customers don't care. My VersaCam, so Brenda says, my VersaCam is horrible with print and cut registration. I just received my GraphTech 9000, so I can cut on that. Haven't set it up though. That is a nice machine. Those new GraphTechs are sweet. Congratulations, that's awesome. Joe, you're gonna make me yawn again. Chris says he'll send the question about the barcode over on my Patreon. If you guys want to support the channel, you can do so on Patreon. So I appreciate everyone over there. You do get access to different perks, as well as all of my like spreadsheets and different things and all that fun stuff. Signworks, I'm glad your name is Cam as well. It's definitely meant for Cam Starkson. Cam. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that or if people know, but Starkson is Cam, editor Cam, and Starkson's in the house right now. I didn't think he would be, and I did get your text messages, but I'm live streaming, so I haven't been able to read them. Will you guys stop telling me to yawn? You're going to make me yawn. Oh man. I'm trying to like calm myself to not yawn. Jay says, Sunday showing a video how you send the job to the cutter with multiple barcodes. I haven't figured that out yet. So I know there is a setting. I'll show you right now. Let me turn this around. Turn around. So if you're on the cutter pen tool, there's this advance after plot. And if that is on, then it's automatically going to try to find the barcode after it. If you turn this off, then it will go back to the front of the job. So Jay, make sure you have that on if you want it to repeat itself. And Cam, thank you for the donation. It was very kind of you, very unnecessary, and now it offsets the gift card that I gave you. Oh, so Cam with Signwork says he had to print yellow, black, and gray squares to calibrate his Suma. All I did was the black one, and that worked. And I did it right when I bought it, and I haven't had to do it since. And then Smart Copy Print says, what kind of latex printer and cut do you recommend? So I have the 315, which I like and do recommend to people. The 335 is wider, and then kind of the step up from the 335 is the 365, and it's the same width as the 335, but it's even faster. So the 335 is faster than the 315, the 365 is faster than the 335, and so like for me this is great. I don't do anything bigger. If you're more of a bigger production, if you do bigger items, then the 365 is probably what I would recommend. Yes, Cam is mentioning Save the Print Shop. It's my social media experiment that I talked about a little bit earlier that he's probably working on editing the video for. Brenda retracted a message, so I don't know what that says. Mateus asks if I use the Patreon money for myself or for the business. The Patreon money this month actually went to pay my electric bill, so both. I used it to cover the fact that I had to pay $200 extra for my electricity because of heating issues, which was caused by the business but helped me personally. My hope with the Patreon money, at least right now, is I would like to get a better setup so that there's better audio, maybe a lavalier mic or a wireless lav mic or something, maybe a better camera, because I'm always running out of space. That's frustrating for me because I just, right now I record on my iPhone. I have the iPhone 10, so that's 2-3 years old. I bought it used because I'm cheap and poor, and I bought the 64 gig model, so I run out of space all the time because I record videos every day. So my hope was to be able to use the Patreon money to afford to buy a camera, afford to buy some lights, which I actually, Doug used my wish list and bought me this light. And then I have this other light right here that I'm using that Wendy bought me from my wish list. So I wanted 2 different lights because when I have both of them set up, then it lights me evenly. And so I thought it looked nicer. And so Doug and Wendy bought these for me. So thank you, Doug and Wendy. I just don't have another tripod because I don't have enough tripods to do that one right now. So that's what I'm hoping to use the money for, Mateus. Joe is now yawning. And
ready?
no. Make a video. I will get you a minute.
Is it right here?
Vincent asks, can you load any type of vinyl on your latex to print on it? I don't know. I've printed... She left. I kicked her out. I have loaded Oracal 651 and tried printing on it, and it worked. And I use... I'm getting distracted. I've used Oracal 651, and the only other stuff I've used is registered media. So I don't know. But the 651 worked, which I was surprised. It was gold. I couldn't get it to cut, but I used the 651 gold, and it printed great, and it looked really cool, but I couldn't get it to cut out. And I didn't spend much time trying to get it to cut out. Oh, you guys are gonna make me yawn. You guys missed a few a little bit ago. So, Cam is saying that he didn't know I was live streaming until he went to look for appropriate music for my Save the Print Shop video. Joe says he's still debating on the iColor 600 plus the press. It's a lot of money for a startup. It is. And when buying both of them, if you're buying them both brand new, you're about $10,000. To me, I already had the press and I bought it used. I got it for I think $1,500, and then I bought the iColor 600 out of pocket. You can always do like the 550, and it'll save you about half the cost if you can get away with smaller prints. There you go, everyone. It finally built up. If you can get away with the smaller prints, you can get the 550, but you can also get the Smart Cut software to like make up for smaller prints if you need to. But I love mine. It's definitely paid for itself. I'm almost to a year. I'm on my 5th box of 11x17 paper, and I will have to buy some toner soon. I'm almost out of a couple of my colors. Welcome, Derek. Derek, I'm yawning because everyone is telling me to yawn, and it's making me yawn. I'd yawn on our podcast if people could see it. I can just hide it. Let's see here. Oh, smart copy prints from Romania. Awesome. I have a friend from Romania. Nick says he can help me set up the streams on my computer. I technically know how to do that, but I like simple solutions, so from my phone has been great for me for now. But I might take you up on that offer. Brenda says thanks, and that she wants to replace her VersaCam with a latex printer, but you gotta pace yourself. Yes, Brenda, please learn from my mistakes. Please. Use what you got until you can't anymore, and make sure you save up to buy it. If you learned one thing from me, learn that. Let's see, Control Tag Vinyl works on the HP latex from Chile. Welcome from Chile. What's the most underused equipment you have? My stack cutter, because I never use it, because it's not accurate. So that is one that I'm trying to sell. So I'm looking at selling my stack cutter, my folder, and my envelope inserter. So those are the 3 that I'm trying to sell. They're the 3 least used items in the shop. Let's see, we got Derek from Alvalu Designs in the house now. He is the one that I do the podcast with. You can check that out, anchor.fm/print, or he's been spending a lot of time making a website for it, printtalkradio.com. But again, it is now available on Apple, Google, Anchor, and a bunch of other places as well. Let's see. Derek is yawning. Cam from Signworks watches Derek's videos. Brenda made her mistake before Brenda, you should have found me sooner. Brenda wants the eye color too. Ew, I know. As actually, if you listen to our podcast, I mentioned this to Derek that from the outward appearance, my print shop, or maybe it was someone else that I was talking to, from the outward appearance, my print shop looks like the Dream Print Shop, sort of, because it has a lot of toys and fun things, but in reality, like if people knew how I really felt inside, they wouldn't think that. So, Joe asks how often I use Bach, my embroidery machine. Not enough. Bach comes down to the fact that I don't feel confident in it, and I just need to spend more time to feel confident. And there's a few like attachments that I could get for it that would make my life a lot easier. And so that's why Bach doesn't get a lot of use, or as much as it should. It's still worth having Bach, and I want to keep Bach, but I definitely need to spend a little bit more time educating myself and getting more comfortable with embroidery. It's definitely more it takes more like skill than I thought it would. Like that's why I don't want to get into screen printing myself, because I feel like there's a lot of skill and technicality in it that I don't want to get into. And it might not be that way, and for the people that do screen printing, might say different, or it could be that you're just confident in it now, and so it doesn't matter to you. But like the Konica, I don't feel like there's much skill required. The HP Latex, I don't feel like there's much skill required, other than knowing how to set up the file. And once you have the file set up, it's kind of like print and go, and you might have a few little issues, but like there's a million things that can go wrong with embroidery. So that's kind of how I feel about it. So that's all the questions. I caught up. Anyone else have questions? I think we're almost done with the cutting. We're doing the perf cut. It looks like it's on the third batch. So, Christopher, that is not Thomas Jefferson or John Adams. It's Bach. Because the origin story is I was saying something and I was like, oh, it's Bach there. And Cam thought it was funny, and so he put a picture of Bach in front of the computer. Or in front of the HP Latex, which is why we call him Bach, and why on the Print Fam stickers you can see Bach on the screen. That one was like vlog 30 or something is when that started. It's been a long time. Let's see, Joe, I was wanting to a DTG but discovered the white toner now I want it. So I think DTG is a good option, but you definitely have to be a busy shop. I think they both have their pros and cons, and I think DTG gets a lot of hate on the internet, just like the eye colors get a lot of hate. I think the people that hate the DTG are those that don't use it all the time, because if you don't use a DTG every day, you have a lot of issues. Versus if a white toner, you don't use it for a month, you don't have any issues. It's very, I said this in one of my videos, I don't know if it was a recorded video or I released it, but I get my videos all confused these days. The white toner, once you learn the process, then it just works. It's the same thing every time, as long as you have the pressure and everything set up. DTG I think is worth it if you're doing a lot of one-off shirts and you're busy. because you can justify charging the $25–30 per shirt to make the machine run to cover the costs. And it's very systematic at that point. You don't have the same struggles you do, same washability concerns, but they all have their pros and cons. It just depends on what your shop needs and wants. So Cam from Signworks asked if I did a lot of COVID printing. I didn't do a lot of COVID printing because most of the little shops that I work for didn't really do any COVID type signs. I do a couple of grocery stores, and I made some floor signs for them, and I made occasional posters and graphics. But in my same town, there is a company that has $50 million worth of large format equipment, and they do like building wraps, and they do like the banners and signs for like the Boston Marathon and the Super Bowl. And so they, because of their business was so dedicated to events, they started releasing super cheap COVID signs just to keep their staff busy. So I wasn't able to compete because they have flatbed printers and they have giant sublimation machines, and I just couldn't compete with what they were selling their generic COVID signs for. Scott asks how I like the embroidery machine. I do like it, but again, it's very... I need to learn a little bit more, and I need to have a few more tools that will help me understand it better and feel more confident in doing it. It was worth it, and I have liked it and used it, but I would probably sell more if I felt more confident in it. Yeah, so Brenda said she started with screen printing and then moved to HTV and other stuff just because of the quality of the newer stuff that was coming out, and the fact that screen printing took a lot of time, space, chemicals, etc. Yeah, screen printing does have a lot of steps to it, and time is one thing that I am short on, so, and space, so I'm not getting into screen printing anytime soon. So Vincent asks, what cutter would cut the stickers the way you demonstrated on the sticker you showed us? So with this, like, you can still do it on the Suma, it just does it weird. Graphtec does a lot better job, but Graphtec doesn't have the same barcode technology as Suma because Suma has it patented. I know Graphtec came out with a similar function, but I don't have Graphtec, so I'm not sure. And I think it's only available in the newer models, so like the one that I think Brenda said she just got. Michael said DTG costs way too much money. Probably. I don't know, I'm not in that world. Derek says they sure do. He must want a new Graphtec, because I know his is a couple years old. He says he wish he has the new one. So now let's switch over. So the downside sometimes when you do perf on my cutter is it bunches up like this. So again, that relates to why I always print extra, because when I print extra, then if some of them are ruined, I don't care. So the way that I release these and I won't be able to see your questions for a minute, so hold them. So you can see like these ones unstuck and unpeeled, and like I said, I don't care because I printed 30 extras because I didn't want to have to babysit it and stop it between every print. And I like to peel them off here instead of taking them to my table because it just seems to go faster. And as long as you have the cutting depth and pressure, then they usually just peel right out. So I just are a nice little stack. And I'll take one of the ruined ones and just peel the edge and add a sticker. So I took off too much, and so now the cutter thinks there's no media, so it won't let me advance it forward anymore. So I won't make you watch the rest, but that's basically what I do. So that's probably about it for this live stream. Let me see what other questions people have. Signwork says thanks. Jay says, can you make me a vegan sticker? Yes, I can. Send me an email. ttmakesomething@gmail.com. T-shirt chick, yes, her name is Sin. So Michael's saying what's up. Hey Michael. T-shirt chick says everyone hit that thumbs up. So yes, I'd appreciate it. Create it. You missed the live yawns. We've had a few, but I'm probably gonna yawn in a minute since you now told me that I should yawn. So Brenda says that sometimes with the crinkled ones, she can re-flatten them with low heat on the heat press. So that's a good idea. Usually what I do is I throw them in my drawer, and when people want to see samples, then I use those as sample and just say, hey, these are some of the ones that got damaged, but it gives people a good idea and they can take them, feel them, play with them, stretch them. So AD is from Ireland, welcome. So we got Ireland, Scotland, we got people from all over. So Sarah is waving, I think that's a wave or a clap, I can't tell. It's probably a clap. Peel one of the stickers. I did. I'll peel it again. So this is one of the ones that got caught. Oh, it's a clap. Thank you for clapping. So now we got the sticker itself. And it comes off. So they turn out really cool. Oh, that's not what the button I want. So this is how they turn out. Again, I'll go over prices one more time since a lot of people weren't here. My cost on these for them is about $30. I'm selling them for about $95. So they're a 4-inch sticker. They're 4 inches tall, 4 inches wide at the max. Sarah says, Derek says hi. I know, he was just on here. Did he leave? Tell him he's fired. Get back to work. Okay. He's driving. No excuse. Robid28 is from Australia. We've been emailing back and, well, not emailing, we've been chatting on the comments. So I'm looking at that little DJI Osmo to maybe upgrade my setup to instead of my Canon M50. Vincent asks, how did I do that? How did I do what? I'm not sure what you mean. So Robit is thinking about starting a YouTube channel, and we've been talking in the comments, and he's looking at the DJI Osmo Pocket, and I was looking at the Canon M50. The Osmo Pocket is definitely less expensive and smaller, which is a benefit. So, well, I would say that with the Osmo Pocket, by the time you outfit it with like the external camera attachment and like a holder, you probably end up being similar in price. But so Vincent is asking how I had it do the 2 cuts. So let me flip my camera back around and I'll show you guys. So this is the design, and I have this cut right here, which is the contour cut, and then I have this cut, which is the perf cut. And you set that when you create the perf cut, you set what type of cut it is, so that when you go to print, it brings up this menu, and on your cut menu you have the contour cut here and the perf cut here, and you can set what you want it to do. You can turn it on and off, you can change the order. That way you could theoretically have multiple contour cuts and have them be different depths or pressures. The same thing with the perf cut. You can actually have a perf cut be a contour cut just based off of what you send it as. I actually did that once. I set the perf as the cut and the cut as the perf, and I set them here the opposite, so it was perfing before it was cutting, and it was causing a lot of problems. But that's how I did it. Was I did the contour cut, which was the shield shape, and then the perf cut, which is the square. Derek says I've inspired him to do a live video. I hope so, because I enjoy watching your videos. I hope you're not driving anymore. Thanks for watching, Munir. This is pretty much over, so thank you for watching as well. My wife is ready for me as well, and I hope she has lunch ready, because I'm fat and always hungry. Do I get jams if a piece falls out? Yes, which is why I usually leave about 1/4 inch of space or a 1/2 inch, so that there's plenty of room and they tend not to fall out and have problems if I leave enough space. If I put them too close, then that's when I usually have issues, because when the gap is like this big and it perf cuts it, then they like to fall out, versus if the gap is this big or like that big, then they don't tend to fall out as well. Plus then that also comes to having the right pressure. If you do too much pressure, then they'll fall out and you have lots of issues. If you don't do enough, then they're not easy to pull out, and so you have lots of issues. Created says I'm awesome. Derek laughs at me. I accept it. I'm my own worst critic, but I accept it. I'm fat and I'm happy most of the time. I'm always fat. Sometimes I try to be happy. All right. Well, unless anyone has any other questions, we're gonna call it a stream. One more thing. What material is the sticker? It is HP Prime Gloss Air GP from Lexjet/HP. Being happy is all that counts. I'm trying. I enjoy these live streams. It makes me happier, so thank you for that. I look bald if I do this. Do I look good as a bald person? I have these like giant widow's peaks or whatever they call them. So that's all right, George. I'm happy to make the videos. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys. So, I guess this this is where we're gonna do the regular outro. If you have any questions about what I do, why I do it, how I do it, etc., leave a question down in the comments. Thank you, Cam, for donating $50 to the live stream. It was greatly appreciated. And I'm glad you don't have to edit this video. Thank you for being here. We'll see you. Tell us your favorite fart joke. You've ruined my outro. Hold on. My favorite fart joke. Alright, I got it. It's a little long one, so be prepared. There was a basketball player, an army guy, and a businessman in an airplane. The captain gets on. He's like, we're going down. We got to lose some weight. So the businessman, he threw his briefcase out the window. The basketball player threw his basketball out the window. And the army man, he threw a grenade out the window. The things kind of settle down. They land out in the field, so they have to walk. So they're walking along. They come to this old man, and he's sitting there crying. Oh, what happened? I was just working, and suitcase fell out of the sky and hit me in the head. Oh, we're so sorry. Kept walking along. Come to this little girl, and she's crying, same reason. Something hit her. It was the basketball. Then they're walking along a little farther. They keep going. And they get to this old lady, and she is just laughing hysterically. She is rolling. And they're like, what is so funny? And she's like, I farted and my house blew up. Because the grenade blew up her house. That's my favorite fart joke. Vincent is asking how I made the contour cuts, so we'll flip the camera around and we'll show you again. I don't know if I can top my fart joke though. So I'm gonna delete these so that we can start from scratch of how I made these. So there's two ways. Goodbye everyone that's taken off while I answer Vincent's question. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you guys liked my fart joke. So Flexi has software built in to make the perf cuts, which you go to effects way up here, and then there's a contour cut. And so what it does is it makes this menu where you can say that you want it with holes, without holes. With holes is with when you're doing like letters, and you want, like, say I wanted to cut out the inside of this like KM, but that's actually solid white behind it, so it won't do it. I can set how big I want it to be. In my case, I have it in inches because I'm American and we're different than the rest of the world. So you can set the size there, and then you can pick whether you want it to be a contour cut or a perf cut. So in this case, I set that I want it to be a contour cut. So then I'm done there. So then what I did was I made a square, and I said, okay, well, I want to also perf cut. And I want the perf cut to be this square. So I said that I wanted the square to be no fill, so there was no color. I went to the effects menu, contour cut, again, and instead of setting it to have a 0.1 inch border, I said it's no border, and instead of saying that I wanted it to be contour cut, I said I wanted it to be perf cut. So at that point, I have my two things, and then I just selected both of them, and I aligned them to center. So then it gave me my perf cut box, and then my contour path. Does that make sense? You can do this in Illustrator as well. You just have to name the contour the specific name. So you have to use this exact phrasing and this exact spelling and this exact spacing, and it will directly import those over. I don't have a video on it, but Derek does. And if you want to check that out, you can look at his channel, Alvalu Designs. He has a video explaining how to set the contour and perf lines in Illustrator instead of Flexi. I try to do all of my design in Illustrator, but I find it's easier to do the contour and perf cuts in Flexi because they have these automated tools. So hopefully that helps, Vincent. We have more questions, so the live stream apparently is not over. All those things are what make you enjoyable to watch. You're down to earth and real, not a hyped up goon trying to sell stuff. Well, thank you. Creative says that was helpful. I'm just starting out with Flexi. Yeah, if you have questions, I'll help if I can. I actually do have an inside source at Flexi, or SAI is the actual company. So my neighbor, his son is the license manager at SAI. So if you have a question and you're not able to get it, I do have his cell phone number that I text him sometimes. I'm like, hey, how do you do this? And so I do have an inside source to SAI. And like, fun fact, SAI is in Utah. Onyx is in Utah. Wasatch is in Utah. So like the three big RIP companies are all Utah based. So they're in Salt Lake, 30 minutes away. Robit asks why I never laminate. 1, I don't have a laminator. 2, I don't think it's worth it. 3, it adds an expense to the job that most people end up replacing it sooner than it's worth doing. They'll take them off, they'll remove them. And I say that specifically with latex because latex has that built-in outdoor rating, that built-in scratch resistance. I was talking to Derek with Alvalu Designs on our podcast about this, and he was saying, like, if you don't laminate EcoSolvent, then it scratches right off. So it's more related to the fact that I'm running latex and not some other technology. I wrapped a box truck when I first got my latex printer about 2 years ago, and it still looks the same. And it's not laminated. Granted, it's a smooth surface, but I have a decal on my car, and it looks great. So that's why I don't laminate. I had, like, so I did a building sign for my sister-in-law, and I gave her the option of laminating. I said, if you laminate it, it will technically last longer, and I explained to her the reasons why I don't suggest it. It costs a lot more, and to me, I said, I bet you'll want to replace it before it wears out. Well, they ended up selling the business, and that business took off all their window decals, and they were up a year. So that's kind of my philosophy and mentality. If I was doing car wraps, I'd absolutely do it, but I don't do car wraps. So Vincent is asking about the software. So Flexi Print and Cut comes with the 315 and 335, and I think even the 115. George, I know you're in the chat. Did Flexi come with your 115? You have to buy a rip separate for the 365. They have the software, you can buy it, you can do a monthly rental. Brenda, you have the VersaCam. Do you laminate your stuff? Do you feel that there's a need to with yours? Alicio's on. Welcome. We're almost through with the live stream. I'll leave it up so you guys can watch it if you guys want to. I might not leave it up forever, but I'll leave it up for a little bit. George is saying that he has 100 yards of laminate that he never uses. Robot, I have the 315. Brenda wants the latex so she can sell the laminator. You might be able to afford the latex if you sell it. Okay, so George has the latex 115, and Flexi comes with that as well. So Flexi comes with the 115, the 315, the 335, but not the 365. Okay, that's all the questions. Unless someone else has more questions, I think we're going to call it a stream. So I'll do my normal outro again, unless more questions pop up. Okay. If you guys have any questions about what I do, why I do it, how I do it, etc., leave those questions down below. Thank you, Cam, for donating 50 bucks to the stream. It's definitely not necessary, and I truly appreciate you. I'm glad you don't have to edit this video, although it's editing weekend, so new videos go up on Monday. Thank you for watching. If you guys want to support the channel, there are links down in the description. Patreon, Amazon affiliate, other affiliates, custom orders, all that fun stuff. I do need to come up with a good yawning shirt design. I want one too. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you just watching, liking, subscribing, and sharing with friends. We'll see you on Monday with a new vlog. Bye, Prince Man. I have to let you go because I have to bring my hand back out because the X is here and my hand covers the X, and so I can't push the X if my hand is there. So it's officially over. Goodbye, y'all. It's not over. Now there's even more people here. There's even more people on the live stream right when I'm about to end the live stream. Oh, another person. I think that's good night. That's not good night. You go to bed way too early, George. I should go to bed. I'm tired. It is good night for Mateus. Have a good sleep, Mateus. Sin from T-Shirt Chick. If you want another channel to check out, she does a lot of stuff. Although, Sin, I still am confused at why you sold all your equipment. Because I don't feel like there's been a video fully explaining that you're selling your equipment. So if you could make a video fully explaining that, then that would... Either that or link me to the video that I missed, because I'm confused. 11 p.m. in Germany. Oh, you still got time, Mateus. It's not bedtime yet. Vincent, Flexi comes with the latex printer, not the cutter. Create It wants to keep the party going. We can keep it going. I just am gonna get the rest of these stickers out. You guys want to watch me work more? we can work more. Oh, I stepped on a bubble. able to see. I'm gonna go blow up the screen so I can see it more. I think I can zoom in. Darren, do you really need to laminate stickers? I never laminate my stickers. Oh yeah. Alright, I was able to make the questions bigger so I can see them from the cutter. I do have to stay now. So Vincent, I never laminate. I have like a 30-inch wide roll of laminate that I laminated one job, and I haven't used it since. So, Starkson, did you donate more money? Why did you do that? Cameron? That was very kind of you, Cam. Just stop it. So another thing that I never thought about, I love you too, Cam. When I bought the latex, was how much garbage space I was going to need. Because it uses a lot of garbage when you print a lot of stuff. So keep that in mind. Alicio, I don't use the embroidery machine as much because I don't feel confident in it. I need to learn a little more, and I need a few more attachments to make me feel comfortable running it. I do use it a lot for hats because hats tend to be easier, but for flats it stresses me out about placement, and like I've had a few shirts that will bunch up while I'm stitching them and it ruins the shirt, and so it just makes me nervous. Like I'm doing an order for Justin, who's a Patreon member, and they're Nike shirts, and each shirt is $45, and it makes me really scared. But I love Justin and appreciate him, so I'm gonna make it work. Yes, Justin is Cam's roommate. Justin has made a few appearances in the vlog as well. Let's see, which one of your equipment would you sell because you're Alicio, thank you for the donation. You donated last time I streamed, so that was very kind of you. Let's see, TM, which one of your equipment are you selling because you're not getting value from it? So I am selling my stack cutter, my envelope inserter, and my Ultrafold. And earlier in the chat, they gave me a good idea that I should sell those and buy a take-up reel for the HP Latex. So Create It says he's had good luck draping them over the top of the cutter to pop them out. That way you don't have to lean. Oh, that would be nice because that hurts. Leaning over is not fun. That's a good idea. I'll try it on the next batch. So Vincent is asking how I pack them. Most of my customers are local. The ones that are not local that I ship to, I'll go get you one of my envelopes so you can see it. Yes, Justin is the one that coined the term print fan. So Justin was watching the vlog and said, you should call us print fan. Or something of that nature. Right, Cam? That's how it went. So see, this one got damaged. Brenda was saying that sometimes she puts them in the heat press and it fixes them. This is not a huge deal, especially when I tell people that I gave them extras. Because like this guy, he wanted 150, and he's going to end up with about 170. My cost difference is not much, but when I tell him, hey, there's extras in here just in case there's a few that might be damaged, and because I appreciate you as a customer, he's more likely to come back. Plus, if there is a damaged one, then he's not going to come back to me and say, hey, one of these is damaged, I need another one. It's, hey, Darren gave me some extras so I know these are counted for. We're going to try Create-It's method and go over the top. Ooh, I think I'm liking this already. Gotta get one started. Don't flick the metal, that hurts. Oh yeah, not having to bend as much. Thank you. I like that. That is nice. I'm worried though that when I get to the end that it's going to want to just fall off. Because there won't be enough holding it. Yeah, George from JP is saying that he likes to fill out the whole roll, which I normally do just that, so they normally don't get as many extras. But this one, 10 fit across, so I didn't really want to print. Yeah, so that's where the issue, it starts going back up. Anyway, 10 fit across, and so in order to get him any extra, I had to do 10 extra, because it's like, why only print one on a row? That's dumb. Okay, Create-It. How do I make it not fall now? TM is asking when I cut the labels. It doesn't work well on the last part. I know, how do I fix it? TM asks if it damages the cutting strip. Yes. So the cutting strip is meant to be a replaceable item. So it's double-sided taped in there and you replace it. This cutting strip on the HP branded Suma is a different type of material than I've ever seen. It's almost like a leathery feel, like not the like smooth side of the leather, like back side of the leather. So it's actually, for me, it's lasted a lot longer. When I started my business, I had a US cutter, vinyl cutter, and it had a plastic cutting strip, and that thing was the worst. But this one, where it's like this leathery stuff, I've never replaced it. I will say though, Create-It, this is way better than bending over. T-shirt chick, that's very nice of you. Thank you, Sin. Make sure you guys all go check out her channel. She does screen printing, which I don't do. I outsource all mine. So if you're looking into doing that stuff, I'm done. Like I said, lots of waste. Sometimes my garbage can outside is full, and so I hide it. Don't tell. It's hiding. That's what I do. Because, like, at first, I got a second garbage can, which makes me feel like hoity-toity, because, oh, he has 2 garbage cans. And now it's like, I kind of need a third one, but I don't want to pay for it. And, like, I don't want that appearance from my neighbors, like, oh, he's got 3 garbage cans. Most of them know that I have a business, but it still would make me feel weird. Alright, well, that was all the work I had to do today. I am going to print some homeschooling books for my wife, which is why I kicked her out when she came in. She came in and was like, "Are you ready?" The reason why is we buy PDFs from the company so that we can print them. Can't think of the words. And when we print them, I need to add blank pages in different spots because some of them you cut out and some of them you don't, but the printing is like there's no blank pages. So she comes in and tells me, oh, we need a blank page here, we need a blank page here, and then I print them on the Konica. So Bob's in the house. Welcome, Bob. I am not the best, but thank you for saying that. TM, I am not live every Saturday. This is the second live I've ever done, and it was every other Saturday, I think. Because I don't think I lived last Saturday, but I did live for the first time the Saturday before. And I decided, since I had to work a little bit today, that it would be fun to live stream again. So we might make it a tradition because it's been fun. I enjoy the back and forth and being able to communicate real time with everyone. Live feed Wednesdays. Yeah, that's possible. Would you still want a vlog or no vlog on Wednesdays and just a live? Yes, I do variable data printing. Bob says yes, do both. Credit says no. I need some more opinions, people. TM says live Saturday sounds good. Lovely says both. No, TM, to go back to your question, Mateus says, Mateus, I thought you were going to bed. I gotta plug my phone in, it's gonna die. Hold on. Yeah, so I do variable data printing. I do it very janky, and most of the time it's just addresses for envelopes. Bob says he has another job. I showed Bob how with a YouTube video, so I don't know why Bob is telling me he's going to show me how. Oh, maybe he's saying he'll show you how we do it. No, after the stream. Okay, you can go a bit after. The inks, each ink cartridge for the HP latex, it's either 135 or 125. The print head is the opposite. So the print head is either 125 or 135 in the ink. So they're within $10 of each other. Brenda says both, but she likes the Saturday stream. George from JP, if you want another channel to watch, you can go watch JP Custom Ink. Yes, TM. I would love to know how to do the secret USPS sorting, because we have to pay more when we don't have that cool secret barcode, but I don't know how to do it. So if you know how and you want to teach me, or well, teach Bob because he does more variable data stuff, that would be cool. Mateus thinks the stream would work better on Saturdays. So, I don't know. We'll see. I like it. I think it's fun. The one thing that the one thing that I like the most about it is the live interaction. Like, I like the real-time feedback, the real-time comments, because it's like, honestly, that's one of my favorite things about making YouTube videos, is like that real-time back and forth, that real-time, hey, I have a question, oh, I can answer it right now, or hey, how do you do this, how do you do that, or oh, you did that wrong, here's a better way to do it. Because almost everything I do I was self-taught, and so it's nice to be around other people. It is. I really do consider you guys my friends. Like, I look forward to the comments. Like, if you, I hope I can always respond to all the comments. I hope that I have enough time to do that. But it's fun. You guys, I consider you my friends, even though I know most of you by your usernames and not your real names. And speaking of which, if anyone is looking for an HP latex, Create It is selling his 335. So if you want to be connected, then let me know. You can email me, ttmakesomething. I am thinking about on the website having a section that if people want, like, it would be no charge, but it would just be a place that we could list equipment that's for sale to try to connect people. Would you guys, like, would that be valuable to you guys to have a source to list used equipment or things for sale? Again, to me, it's like I'm trying to sell a few pieces, and so I thought, oh, if I'm trying to sell, maybe other people are, and it would be a good way to build a place that would be just a free listing for people that are similar mindsets that could connect. So if you guys think that would be valuable, then I'll spend the time to make it. TM, I like, if you watch my videos, you can sometimes see this photo. That's a sublimated panel. I looked at it like a long time ago. I looked at the Sawgrass machines, but I just thought they were overpriced. Not the machine itself, but the ink. Recently I looked at the Epson, which is a new one that they came out with that does rolls or sheets, which I think is a lot better priced and a lot more functional. But it's just not something that I can add to my business right now. I do think it would be a good option for me to add, but I need to save the print shop first. I need to get my finances fixed and not be so much in a heartache and struggling to stay afloat financially. But I do think it would be fun to add sublimation, because I think there's a lot of knowledge that I could share about it that people could learn from. And honestly, that's one thing that I like about the YouTube thing, is I'm able to share my equipment, because I was super scared to buy the HP latex because, like, Vincent's been here asking a bunch of questions. I wasn't able to do that. I had to just pull the trigger and buy it. And so being able to share this has been super helpful for me, because it's what I wish I would have had access to. Yeah, the Chinese are selling, but it makes me nervous to buy a Chinese one. Brenda says her Sawgrass is a paperweight. I have a paperweight too. It's called the Hasler envelope inserter. Have I printed canvas on the latex? No, I have not printed canvas yet because I haven't pushed it, and I don't want to have to finish it because I don't have the space to do the finishing. If I had like a bigger table or bigger area, like if I built my shop, I would probably get into it a little bit more because I would have an easier way to like do the framing. And I know you can get like Go frames or something like that, that are easier to do, but I don't have the space to frame them, so I outsource all of that. So Vincent asks about this vinyl, what cutter I use. I just use the same cutter. So the wheels move so that you can adjust it to the width of whatever media you're using. TM, I have done custom printed masks. I did some yesterday for a buddy last night, and Bob did some last week, and I did some the week before. So I buy the blank masks for $1.75, and decorated I sell them for $6.50. So do all the decoration on the white toner. Usually I can fit like 30 masks on a sheet, so decent margin. JP Custom Ink is asking about holographic for the HP latex. You can actually print holographic. Like I printed, let me get it. It's in the secret cupboard. No, it's not. I don't know where I put it. Maybe it's up on my shelf. So I printed some gold, silver, or not silver, gold metallic, which is like the holographic. And it prints fine. I just couldn't get it to cut. And people gave me a bunch of tips and ideas of how to cut it, but I just didn't care enough. And it was actually Bob's job, so Bob didn't care enough to have me care enough about it. There is a company that sells holographic for the latex, and I think it's called Gaines Digital. I know the guys like Instagram, I think is like Big Fish Media. I'll see if I can find the link and send it to you, but I know he sells holographic that you can print on the latex. I think it's Gaines. I asked him if he wanted to sponsor the YouTube channel, and he didn't respond to me. We'll just search right now. So it is Gaines Digital. His name is Josh Cormany. And as far as I know, he sells holographic. So GANS Media. Their website is Gaines Inc. GANSINK.com. I'll put it in the chat. Bob says he'll see me Monday. Does the latex print on shirts? Not directly. You can do heat transfer vinyl and apply it to shirts, but you can't print directly onto shirts. I use the Grimco Turbo Print to do shirts, but I don't do it very much anymore. There's only certain designs that I will do with printed HTV. Everything else I do standard HTV or white toner. All right, any other questions, y'all? Or should we call it a stream for the third time? We We got a lot of us on here. That's fun. What is my best seller? Probably the thing I sell the most is business cards. Other than that, the second best seller is just stickers. Just like, this is 500 stickers. But I do lots of stickers. So, like, I did these ones, these ones, these ones, 2 o'clock club, like lots of stickers, lots and lots of stickers. I have not seen the C14,000. I would probably want to spend money if I had. Yes, please. What did I do with the ink from the maintenance station? I put it in the Ziploc bag and then I threw it in the garbage. It cuts them on the fly. Mateus. That is like my dream printer. Yeah, so the maintenance, I don't know if I'm supposed to. I didn't say that I couldn't, so they're water-based, so and creases. Yeah, but it probably costs like way too much money. That's like the one machine right now that I can think of that would really help me would be like a Morgana. I think that's one of the biggest things that I'm missing here in the shop is the ability to do some finish work, so that I could fold and do custom creases. Yeah, I can understand that the printer slows down a lot. I'm not a huge production shop, so I don't really have the problem for the machine running slow. Like, I'm not printing like a couple, I don't know when the video was released, but I printed like 2,000 menus. That was the longest like continuous print that I'd ever done, and it took 50 minutes. Most of my stuff I'm printing 25 sheets, 30 sheets, or like I'm doing the 8.5 by 11 books, and those, my printer does 80 pages a minute, so most of the books I do at most are like 120 pages, so it takes 2 minutes to print the whole thing. So to me, like, I'm not like this huge production business, so ooh, that's a lot of money, Mike. That's a lot of money. Mine is like a third of that. TM, I have never worked for a print shop, so all of my print knowledge is self-taught or YouTube or talking to salespeople. I started 10 years ago and outsourced everything. I've always been into computers, so that's actually my background, is I'm an IT guy, and so I knew how to do artwork and knew how to do all that stuff, and slowly decided I wanted to bring equipment in-house, which I probably did a little too fast, but yeah, that's part of the reason I make the videos, is because I wish that some of the knowledge that I was looking for was available online, so I try to share what I know and try to help how I can to answer the questions for people. You can do business cards on the iColor. If you were to do that, I would still suggest a Duplo, or I would suggest getting something like their LF600 so that you can cut them down. Yes, there are definitely more expensive printers out there. I wasn't even planning on buying the Konica that I have. I was actually planning on buying something a lot smaller and a lot less expensive. So originally I was going to buy the Konica 3070L, and the reason why I was hesitant after talking to them, I didn't know that you can add additional finishing options to that machine. And so then I was like, oh, well, I'll do the 3070. And then when I was talking to them, they had a 3080 on the floor that they were getting ready to sell. So that's why I ended up with the 3080. I bought the demo. So Jeffrey, I do a ton of business cards. I got into business cards. That's what actually got me into printing, is I was starting my computer repair business, and I called around to a bunch of places, and they wanted, I think the cheapest place at the time wanted $150 for 1,000 business cards, and I thought that was a joke. And so I figured out how to get some wholesale pricing and getting trade accounts, and started offering business cards. After business cards, I started offering postcards, and then postcards led me to wedding announcements, and then wedding announcements led me to more paper products. And so that's kind of how I got all started. But I do a ton of business cards. TM, I do have a few that ask for specifically UV coated cards, but if they do, I outsource them. There's two cardstock papers I carry, and to me they look super similar, but I carry gloss and the silk / matte. And so if they're okay with gloss, then I'll do just the gloss. If they want the actual UV, then I outsource it. And I do have some customers that I do that for. Or I'll outsource it if it's a large order and it's cheaper, or I'll outsource it if, like, logistically it's better. So I have a customer that's in Kansas, and so I'll outsource the majority of their orders because the cost of shipping is a lot for me versus my outsourced suppliers. Since they do so much, they have negotiated shipping prices, and so I'll usually outsource those because it saves money in the long run. Well, I'm glad you could find the vinyl. I will gladly take that 6K. I got a form on my website. Totally joking. I'm glad I could help you find it. Uh, yeah, that's why I'm here. Like, being able to help is awesome. So I'm glad that you were able to find that, George. Your name is George, right? I am not, like, messing up. I'm pretty sure I'm right, but I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot. Well, thanks, everyone. I think that's about it. Okay, yes. JP Custom Ink, George. I'm still also waiting for your video to come out about your new heat transfers, like your screen printed transfers and your patches. Like, you teased us and then didn't come out with a video. Zoli, I am a little tired. I did sleep in a little bit today. I slept in until about 9:30. But Josh, I'm glad you enjoyed the podcast. Mateus, there's a lot of people. There's a lot more than my last live stream. My last live stream, I think, maxed at 20. So that's fun. I'm glad you guys could be here. Any last questions? I'm happy to just kind of sit here, but I feel kind of awkward. Like, I'm not this big production. Wendy gave me this cool light so I could, like, switch the mode or something. That's kind of cool. Oh wait, wrong mode. Here we go. I can liven things up here, do a little party. Switch the colors. Now I'm blinded. Okay, there we go. I can call you whatever I want since I saved you $6,000. Let's see. Yes, everyone, thank you for liking the video. Best paper for laser printer business cards. So I use Kelly paper. I was using it was Carolina, but then the name changed, West Rock or something. I don't know. It's 130-pound silk and 130-pound glossy Kelly paper. I'll go get a box. Oh, I stepped on a bubble again. It scares me every time. I don't know if it's backwards, so I'm sorry if it is. Is it backwards? Nope, it's not backwards on the screen. It's backwards for me. So this is what I use. It is the Kelly paper, 130 pound. I buy it in glossy and silk. I use it. I like it. My customers like it. So Mateus says the best paper place in Germany is Paper Union. So if you're in Germany, Germany has the best gelato. Tango, that was the name I was looking for. Carolina became Tango. Thanks, Mike. But back to gelato. Germany. Gelato is delicious. Yes. So, Mike, I used to buy the Tango, but then I switched to Kelly because I felt like it was basically the same. And it was cheaper. A lot. Like, this box of Tango was like $10 or $20 more than this box of Kelly. Yes, I don't think Kelly paper is outside of the United States. If anyone has the paper that I'm looking for, if you guys could help me, I'm looking for someone that carries the Revolution Digital Carbonless that's Xerox. So it's Xerox Revolution Digital Carbonless. If you know where I can buy that, because the NCR form that I can get from Kelly or Veritiv is like the superior brand, and it's supposedly way more expensive. So if you know where I can get the cheaper stuff, please let me know. Should we be done? Or should we just want to hang out? Mateus, you're not making me feel too happy that you... So Andy asks, did you just go with the HP print and cut, or are you using a different model? So yes, I did the print and cut. So I have the HP Latex 315, and this is called the HP 54 cutter, which is just a Suma D. HP just rebrands it. They have a partnership with Suma to do it. So you can use Suma blades, which these ones are awesome. And I actually talked to a company that is going to start distributing these, so I should have a reference for you guys of where to buy these soon. You can see I'm trying to build up businesscardsonly.com, George, so you can, I'm trying to do really good pricing there. That's the best pricing. Normally my retail rates for business card are $25 for 250, $35 for 500, and $50 for 1,000. But I'm trying to build up an online source that I've talked about a lot on here, and I've actually never had anyone buy cards from it before. So, but yeah, that's my prices. TM, thank you for the donation. That's very kind of you. Tim, welcome. Nice to see you. So Andy with the 365. Derek from Avalue Design has the 365, and he went with the Graphtec. He likes it, although the newer Graphtec has the barcode stuff, so I would definitely look into that. He says they're sweet. I haven't looked at them just because Derek runs so much that he's looking at possibly getting more, from what I understand. So, great little machines. Brenda, yes, all my business cards are double-sided. Well, unless people don't want them double-sided, but I price them as if everything is double-sided. MacGyver, I like that name. I'm glad you like my channel, thank you. I'm glad you find the videos informative. The cheapest vinyl that is greater than 24-inch. The cheapest vinyl I know is sold by Grimco, and it's their E-Series, but I don't like it. It's not that much cheaper that I feel it's worth the price difference. But yeah, Grimco has their E-Series vinyl. I like the HP Prime Gloss, and so that's what I stick with. It ends up being about 24 cents a square foot, which I don't feel is bad. George, if you're doing wholesale, I do wholesale business cards, so feel free to reach out to get better pricing. Oh, for just cutting, I usually just buy 651, like Orcal, 651 vinyl. Hi, Daddy. I'm the man. Thank you. I am a man, but I don't know if I'm the man. Although I am my own boss, so sometimes I have to stick it to myself. So Tim says, like in Andy's response, that he's got the FC8000, which I think is the same one that Derek has, but I think it's the 9000 that was it Brenda that said she has the 9000 or is getting the 9000 that has the new barcode stuff in it? If you're looking, like if you want to just get a cutter, not something that prints, then I would get like one of the house brands from somewhere like US Cutter or Heat Transfer Warehouse or Heat Press Nation. They all have cutters that you can get for a few $100 if you want to do just cutting. That's actually what I started with. I had the the I think M721 or something, 28-inch. Tim, the popcorn labels turned out really good. They were super happy with them. It's almost time for them to buy their next batch, which makes me super excited. They also decided to add a new product, so they came out with fudge, and so they bought even more labels. They only did a short run of those ones. By short run, I mean 5,000. But they bought all 5,000 at once. They're hoping that the fudge does well and they'll buy more. So I hope it does well as well, because that would be super helpful. But they're really happy. He said, not only am I better priced than the other company, my customer service is better. And so he basically said, I look forward to working with you for years. So I hope that turns out, because I did the math. If everything works out with him, the profit on just the labels a year would be $8,000 to $10,000. So that would be super, super helpful, especially right now. And he says, when it comes to guys like him that have only been doing it a short time, I'm definitely the man. I always, like, when I'm with my family and someone asks something, then sometimes I'm like, oof, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get off work. My boss is kind of a jerk. I am kind of a jerk. I'm a slave driver. Well, I probably shouldn't say that because the times, but shouldn't use that phrase. I work myself way too much sometimes. TM, yes, I did consider a printer and cutter in one, like the Roland, but I didn't like the main draw to latex was the maintenance, or the lack of maintenance. The Roland, I didn't like that you had to have daily maintenance, weekly maintenance, and monthly maintenance. I also didn't like that you had to outgas or degas or off gas or whatever people call it. Where if I wanted to laminate something, which I typically don't do, but everyone that has EcoSolvent says you should, I didn't like that I had to wait for it to dry basically for hours, a day at the least is what they recommend, to then laminate it, to then cut it. So to me, it's like, why would I want something that does it all in one when I have to cut it off and outgas it anyway? So Brenda says don't do it. She has the VersaCam, so she probably is dealing with that right now and wants to get the latex. That's true. Mike says it's better to have two because if one breaks, then you got another one. So that is true. Plus, like, it also helps because then you can ramp up production as needed. So it's like, okay, well, maybe you can have two printers that feed one cutter because you might be able to feed it that way, or maybe it's you have two cutters that feed one printer, and so it helps with versatility and structure and things like that. So I like the two machines. It does take up more space though. See, we just hit Andy's production right on the head. Haven't run the cotton candy machine this year. No. Do you guys want to hear the story of why I have a cotton candy machine? Do you want to hear my origin story of the machine of cotton candy? If one person says yes, I'll tell you. Well, that wasn't a yes, that was a sure. I don't know. Okay, we got a yes. You guys know I have problems. I have equipment problems. I have toy problems. And at the time, I was working for a disaster restoration company. And I was trying to find ways to make money because I wasn't making enough. And there's another yawn for you. And I saw cotton candy and I was like, oh, I could rent the machine or I could rent myself out and go do it. And so I found a place I could buy it for wholesale. And so the cotton candy machine cost me $400 for the machine, and then I have the bubble top, which was like another 150 bucks. So I bought it. And when I got it, one of my buddies found out and double yawn, and told his brother, who was like a manager for some healthcare place, and they're like, hey, can we pay you to come do cotton candy at our summer carnival event thing? And I was like, yeah, I'll do it for $150 plus the cost of supplies. It was the worst thing ever. Like, the worst thing ever. It was hot. It was miserable. Like, you think my office is hot. Like, right now my office is 88 degrees Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius. And I was dying. And I had cotton candy. Like, I had gloves on, but the sugar and the floss was all over my arms. Like, I was there for 2 hours, and it was the worst. And so I was like, I can't do this again. I'm not gonna, like, it's not worth a Saturday to me to be sticky and hot and sweaty and miserable. And so I kept it. And then I thought, oh, well, maybe I'll rent it out. And I rented it to one person and they broke it. So then I was like, I'm not gonna rent this out. So I kept it. And the reason I ended up keeping it was because right around that time we moved. So we went from an apartment that we were in, we bought our first house. And we moved in like the week before Halloween. And I had these supplies left over from the event, and I got it fixed. Man. So I got the cotton candy machine fixed, and for Halloween we gave out cotton candy. And I just remember, like, one of the kids came up and he grabbed the like dome and put his face up against it and was like, "This is the best house ever!" And from then on, I've done cotton candy for Halloween. So to answer your question, no, I haven't run it this year. The last time I ran it was for Halloween, which was, I think, vlog 100. It is delicious, Brenda, and I eat way too much of it. And really, cotton candy's really cheap, which is why I still do it for Halloween, because you can buy pre-made floss, is what it's called, and it's $5. And then you buy the sticks and they're like 5-10 cents a piece. And it's cheaper than buying candy bars, especially because you can use the floss every year. We just put it in an airtight container, and whatever I don't use, I just reuse the next year. So there's the story of cotton candy. I don't know creative. Because I can't do it inside. Like, I would have to take it out. It would ruin my machines. To answer someone's questions about Mimaki cutters, I have no experience with Mimaki. If it's just a cutter though, I don't see why it wouldn't be any good. Cotton candy for the Patreon fam. By the time you got it, I don't know if it'd be any good. I might be able to figure out a way to ship it so that it would last. I'll tell you what, I will look into it. I will look in to see if there's a way that I could ship it and not have it be ruined. My mouth is kind of watering now. Cotton candy sounds good. Only ship in winter. That's true. Flat packet. The funny thing is with cotton candy, if you leave cotton candy out in the air, it shrinks. And if it's not airtight, then it's super funny because now it's yawn time. Like everyone was asking for yawns earlier, and now it's yawn time. In case you don't want stale cotton candy. But yeah, for cotton candy, if like we had bags that we had made, because usually after Halloween I'll make a few extra bags because like my sister-in-law would want it and she didn't come, or my mother-in-law or some neighbors. So I'll make a few bags and we'll leave it in the house. And one time we forgot about them and we found them like a few weeks later in the pantry, and they were just these hard balls of sugar. Still tasted good, but it was literally pure sugar at that point. So that is the story of the cotton candy machine. I bought it from Manufactured Fun, I think is the name. So if anyone wants ones. All right. Any other questions? We're almost at 3 hours, so that's like, whoa. I think we're all hungry for cotton candy now. I'm just hungry in general. It's 4 o'clock. It's way past lunchtime. It's almost dinner time. Do I have a bounce house now? No. No, I do not have a bounce house now. A 12-hour stream? Matez, you gotta go to sleep. I have problems. And when the cotton candy machine did not work out, I thought I would buy a bounce house and rent the bounce house. I sold the bounce house. Too much work. Although we did consider buying another bounce house when COVID started so that the kids could play. But I decided I didn't want to spend the money. TM, my work-life balance as a business owner, it's not very good. I am not one to learn. I'm trying to be better. In the last couple of videos you saw that I went swimming with the family. Well, they're not live yet, Cam is editing them. I was trying to be better. So I will say that like I try to be done at 6, which is not always the case. And I try to have breakfast with the family. I try to have lunch with the family, which is not always the case either because sometimes I have to go run errands or do things, but Andy, I'm glad Derek and I could help you get out of a funk. If you could help me get out of that funk, I'd appreciate it. My funk is more financial crisis related, but It's not your fault. I think that's the biggest. That's the hard thing for me is like I don't think I would be in like the heartache that I'm in right now if it wasn't for COVID. And I think like the deaths and the scaring and all that is sad and the sickness. But I think the biggest toll that COVID is having on our world is financial. I think a lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people have been furloughed or temporarily unemployed, and I think that's the biggest issue that's come from COVID. Like it makes me sad that people are getting sick or have gotten sick or died or, but like the impact that it's, I think it's had a far greater impact, um, business related than anything. I'll fix it in a little bit.
Okay.
Give me like 5 minutes.
Okay.
All right. Well, we probably should end. That was my little girl. She wanted to watch a show on the iPad, but the iPad logged out. So, um, I think we're gonna let Mateus go to sleep because he's got to get up in 6 hours. So we'll end the stream. But I appreciate y'all being here. I had a lot of fun. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for your time and your comments. And I've done my outro like 3 times, so we're just gonna say we'll see you on Monday. Print face.